All right, folks, good evening. And it is that time of the week. It is the Muse live here on the Callaloo Network, live on DropMusiX DMX, and live on several social media platforms, and rebroadcasting on Tempo Networks throughout the entire Caribbean, throughout the United States, and in South America. We're also broadcasting live on our sister Latin station, La Mega Mundial, and we're also broadcasting on YouTube Live as well. Good evening, folks. I'm Anthony Weeks, your host, and we have a really exciting show for you this evening. And I want to be able to really have you buckle in and really look forward to tonight's live showcase. Tonight is Movie Showcase Live on DMX, and we have none other than an actor, writer, producer, and director in Sean Michael Fields. Let me bring in Sean, and also I will be joined by my colleague, Patrice Deschabert. She is a production supervisor at the Tyler Perry Studio. And let me say a pleasant good evening to Sean and Patrice. Guys, how you doing this evening?
Good, and yourself?
Fantastic. You guys are looking great, man. Looking forward to the show this evening. So we opened up with that wonderful reel that you just sent us, Sean. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll get into telling folks who you are, all about what you do, and the various projects and the different hats you wear in the business.
Well, thank you, Anthony, for having me. So yeah, that was my reel. That's my latest reel with my work from about the last year and a half. I know during the pandemic, we were shut down and locked down, but I was fortunate to still be able to work, do a lot of great work, had the opportunity to do 7 campaigns with Ciroc and a bunch of music videos, Cranium, Gal Policy, you name it, Ashanti. So it was a great chance to showcase the work that I've been doing in the last year and a half, because I haven't had a new reel in about 3 years.
All right, fantastic. So now you are an extremely multi-talented, like I said, I mean, you act, you write, you produce, and you direct. I mean, is there more to that? I mean, is that the full gamut of, in terms of what you can do in the business, or is there something I'm missing? Pat, you can jump in. Well, obviously.
Yeah, there's lighting, there's grip, there's transport, there's hair, there's makeup, there's wardrobe.
There's a lot, and interestingly enough, I've done a lot. I tell people I love film, and that means every aspect of it. So last year, a friend of mine called me to help him grip and light a music video, and I said, look, I'm not a grip, but I know how to light. That led to me DPing and working on all these other projects because then they found out all the other things that I can do, and it was like, wait, you can do this, you can do that, you can do it. Yes. But it's not, a toot your own horn kind of thing. I just love everything to do with film. So writing, directing, shooting, casting, editing. I edited the reel that you just played, my music selection and choices. So yeah, I just have a love for this whole industry and doing every little single tiny piece of it, whatever I can put my hands on.
They call you a one-man band.
Yeah.
You play all the instruments and still come up with good sound. Could you tell us about your training? Where did you learn the craft?
So my dad is a graphic artist. So I learned graphic design by hand when he was doing it, which led me into university. My dad saying, you're a computer nerd, learn everything about a computer. So I went to school to study graphic design. But having an eye for graphic design and doing my degree, I had to learn photography, and I had to learn lighting, and I had to learn so many different things to get a degree in design. And then coming out of university, I went to work in corporate America as a computer coder, and I was working in corporate internet security using the nerdy side of my brain and doing nothing creative whatsoever. And then I just moved back home and opened a design company, and then finally said, look, you love film. It's time to just go to LA. And I moved to LA to act. And in that first week, I was in Hancock with Will Smith as an extra, but then it just became this amazing thing where I was with him and I got seen, and I just took notes.
First week in LA, that's an amazing story.
Yeah, it was really funny how it happened too, because I went to sign up to be an extra, and it mirrored the scene from him in Men in Black, where I got there and there was all these people, there's nowhere to sit down. I had a pencil, I was standing up trying to write on a wall to fill out my information, and out of 200 people, they were like, can we see you in the back? And I see a tattoo on your neck, and I thought that was going to be a negative, and they said, take off your shirt, and they're like, oh, you're kind of fit. Let's pull you over to the side. And 24 hours later, I'm standing face to face with Will Smith doing this movie, going, "Wow, this is my first week in LA. This is destined to be." So I've never been really formally trained in film, which I think is a benefit in these times, especially working in LA. I've had the chance to work on a lot of amazing productions and just soak in knowledge from all of these different people, whether it was the actor, the director, the DP, and I ask a lot of questions so that I could learn more. And then I was afraid to call myself a director. Anthony knows I did a travel series. We did 39 episodes, and it took me until I did like the 24th before I would call myself a director.
You know, I want to, on that note, seeing that you mentioned that, because when we first met, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because when we met several years ago, we met where you were, this particular project, when you were doing the series, you were working as a detective. You, as an actor, you were working as a detective. And I was just really fascinated by this. This piece is called Dominion. Let's play this piece. When we come back, we'll jump right in and get back into not only the fact that you're an extremely talented, but where you're from. That is, for me, is an interesting dynamic. And in terms of speaking of your ability to do what you do, where you kind of just mix, you know, you look at it, you take a regional approach to your talent. And so let's jump right into this this particular piece, this trailer that speaks to, you know, your multi-talented area in the business.
Right.
I want to hire you. The void that cries through you. Relive the pictures that have come to pass. And in your darkest hour, no secrets lay. We can watch the world define what it is.
Why do you think I'm trusting so much to someone who knows so little? You have no idea how much is riding on this.
I never agreed to take your case.
The world I wake up to every day looks the same as yours. You open your eyes, grab your coffee, open the paper, all the while unaware the monster sits around you. The difference for me is, I know these monsters are real. I know them by name.
I need to know where the girl is.
My job is to make sure you wake up every day
You need a clean house, lady.
You think I don't know that?
none the wiser.
Names are complicated, and you are the only one I can trust.
My name is Markham. This is my world.
That was Dominion. And you and I met several years ago when I was introduced to you by a mutual friend, and that really showcased your acting skills. You are not only a multi-talented person in the film industry, but it's where you're from is really fascinating. You are, you know, Patrice talked about your training, your formal training, but you're actually a Caribbean American. You are someone that is straight out of the Caribbean. Talk to us a little bit about your Caribbean connection.
So originally born in Barbados to parents who are the first generation Bajans. My mom's side of the family is Guyanese. My dad's side of the family is Lucian. So I call myself a Lucian Bajan Guyanese who moved to America and took on, you know, their schooling and some of their education skill sets, some of the things that America had, and I tried to blend it all together. But everything that I do, I try to bring out a piece of the Caribbean in different and unique ways. Like, for example, just doing the Ciroc commercials, I had black cape used as one of the things for dessert. Just trying to implement the fact that we are prevalent in society, not just in America, but around the world, but we don't really get the attention unless we're like a Rihanna or a Bob Marley. But when, you know, the Attorney General, the former Attorney General, Eric Holder was in, he's a Bajan. You know, when we look at certain people throughout the world that hold certain positions, we are West Indian. So we do a lot, and we do bring a lot to the table. It's just hard to bring us together because we have years of separation from slavery, etc., and not being able to communicate, and now being able to communicate, but still finding ways to do these things. So we're still in the embryonic stage, I think, of doing what we want to do going forward in this industry. But we got to do something. We can just sit back and just keep doing nothing. So Dominion was something. Rodney out of Canada is also Bajan, and Maya, who's the lead actress in that, she's also Bajan. And at the time we were doing it, 2009, it was probably about no more than 10 web series, I would say. And we coined a phrase called a webisode, which was a mini episode to go between it. And then we watched that take off. And then we started pitching it, and we pitched it to Sci-Fi. And then they started following us on Twitter. And then no meetings or anything. And a year later, we see Sci-Fi has a show called Dominion. So we realized we're onto something. We know we're onto something. It hurt a lot to see what they did, but we recognize that there's a forward direction for us as West Indians with our ideas and with the things that we can do. And if we are able to find each other in these higher profile places, really being able to work together.
I got to ask a question that everyone wants to know. You said you're from Barbados. Do you know Rihanna? You met Riri.
That's always the first question. Yes, I've met her several times. We've got to hang out quite a few times. Funny story about her was she was doing her concert in Barbados. She was at the ship-in. I went in. She was in her VIP section. A friend of mine was running it, so he let me in. I walked in. I went over. I said, just very humbly, hi. Not sure if you remember me. And she was like, of course, Sean, I remember you. I was like, oh, okay, all right, good. And so we've hung out. She's really, really cool, down to earth, one of the most coolest down to earth people that you can meet. Her brother and I are still good friends. We speak regularly. It's a small country, and she's never let anything that's happened outside of where she's gone to ever take her outside of that, which is amazing. And I think that's one of the things that we carry within ourselves. It's like we realize where we're from. We come from these small places. So when we go big places and we go far and we go foreign and all those things, we're still able to come back home and just bring it back to like the smallness of home and family and these kind of things. So the ego don't get too big.
That's all right. I didn't get to meet her, but I didn't get to hang out with her, but I was able to meet her and snap a photo at one of her cologne launches. And she was pretty cool and was hugging up on my daughter and everything, taking pictures. Yeah. But that's nice. And the webisode is really taking off, and it's what's hot right now. What you working on now?
So right now I'm working on a bunch of different things. Luckily, I have another Ciroc campaign coming up. I have some commercials that I'm directing and working on, and I've just finished pitching my new series to 2 networks last year. So hopefully that will then be the next thing to take off. I'm really excited about this series. Really, really, really excited.
B, when I look at your obviously we start with the acting part, right? And then we're going to look at some of the other projects where you have both acting, you've written, you produce and direct at the same time. But Dominion, when you started acting, how much of a challenge that project was for you as an actor? And we're going to play some other of your projects as well. But tell us real quickly, give us an idea what, acting, your role in Dominion, if you will.
So Dominion was really interesting because Rodney came to me while I was living in Los Angeles, and he was shooting these little 1-minute clips in Toronto because he was living there, but he wanted to shoot the series in New York. So I did voiceovers for what he was doing in Toronto from LA, and then flew to New York, met him in New York, and then we started shooting in New York. But unfortunately, he didn't have any of the funding. The funders pulled out because web series were new, right? And so now we're sitting there going, okay, now what? We've got like this camera and that lens and that piece of equipment, and let's just pull it together. So, I was kind of assisting directing and assisting writing, and then also having to act, which taught me that I can direct and act, which was good. It was a real challenge for me to be able to see how that would work. And then we went to Barbados and we did more stuff there, and we have more of it that we would love to showcase and put out. But when what happened with Sci-Fi happened, we realized our series was dead in the water. Sci-Fi's series is basically called Dominion, and it's about a supernatural figure, angels and demons. And our series is called Dominion. It's about a supernatural figure, and it's about these vampire-like figures and these other figures. So everything is far too close for us to continue to try to push a non-funded series against a network. But the saving grace that I took from it was, if they're willing to steal what we're doing, then we know we're doing something really good.
That's right. That's right.
This next trailer we're going to play was the second project I was introduced by, and for me, what I was just amazed by, how do you prepare to get into this role? I can only imagine how challenging it was for this particular role that you had to play, because you're talking about becoming that character in that role, and it's called Egress. Let's take a look at Egress, and I'm sure it's probably one of your most greatest accomplishment, but most challenging, I would believe. But I'll leave that for you. Let's take a look at the Egress trailer.
See, I've been wondering lately, wondering where this road's gonna take me. Cause I can't read no signs to guide me on my
My name is Elliot.
I've left everything but
I'm sorry, I'm busy right now.
around to remind me.
I'm not
Only my
stupid.
shadow right beside me. Not even a clue for you to find me.
I have something to say too.
To outrun me. Not even your lights could outshine me. See, I've been wondering lately, wondering
Do I look like I want a damn croissant? Huh?
See, I've been traveling for so long. Everything along the way has made me so strong. So I say
I'm sorry.
and say so
My name is Sandra.
to the demons of my life. Right. I took control over
Come on, pal. You're gonna make people think you're dead already.
I believe that it's my right. So I'm gearing for the fight, for the highlight. Yeah, the fight for freedom, fight for my life. So I drive for miles out in the sunset. Wonder if this crazy world is done yet. So I blow my smoke up in the sky, yeah. Clocking 90 on the highway, yeah. See, I've been wondering lately, wondering where this road's gonna take me.
Oh, I feel so sad. Elliot. I want to see what happens to Elliot.
That one has left. I've literally watched people in the theater cry
Oh.
watching that, which is something that I enjoy from theater days. Just seeing the reaction of the crowd in the theater is really interesting, especially when people are in tears. And that was definitely the hardest role I've ever had to play. I when I was in LA and came here to do Dominion, the one thing that I saw was there are so many homeless people in Manhattan and New York, and what are they going to do come wintertime was my thinking. If you're from Barbados, you're at home and you're hungry and you're homeless, you could still be outside and warm. You could climb a tree and drink a coconut. You could still get some fruit. If you're in Manhattan in the freezing cold and concrete, you're done. So I grew out my hair, grew out my beard, and to prepare for the role, I slept on the streets in Manhattan in February.
Would you really?
Yeah, and it was very difficult. At one point I walked 30 blocks one night before anybody would swipe a Metro card to let me in for free. And so while we were shooting, people thought I was homeless. The first morning I got out of the taxi and the ice was on the ground, and I broke the ice to get the water, disgusting water, and I lay on the ground and I rolled around in it, and two guys came, saw, "Oh, you need help," and they're helping me up, and I'm, "No, leave me alone." And they really thought I was homeless, not an actor preparing to go, first day of shooting. So I really tried to live and embrace that role, and I was very fortunate. I pulled this down to show you guys. This is the certificate of first place from the MCNY Film Festival. My associate producer called me, and I was in Cayman, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm getting ready to go work out." He said, "Well, sit down." And I said, "What happened?" He says, "I submitted the film." And I was like, "Oh, I told you not to submit the film anywhere." He goes, "Well, I did." And I was like, I was not happy that he did it. And he said, "But you won." And I said, "Won what? What, best short?" And he said, "No, you won the whole festival."
So why didn't you just submit it? You didn't feel like it was ready, like your best work?
Yeah. I didn't feel that it was. I have a big problem, self-promotion. I have a big problem watching myself. So whenever Egress is played in any screenings that I've been at, I'm at the back by the door with a hoodie on, trying to run away. And then, you know, the crowd is clapping and everybody's embracing it, but I just have this thing and I don't know how to get over it, get beyond it. But it's really difficult for me to do like self-promotion and do that kind of thing. So I sit in the room and I cringe at what people are going to think. And even if they love it afterwards, I'm still uncertain. Knowing that I put my all in and put the best in, but you just don't know how people are going to receive things, right? It's usually subjective. So you just hope for the best and you put it out there and you see what happens.
I think that's the best attitude, though. You can't get too cocky in this industry. You have to be humble, and you have to, you know, you still have to be that person that's hungry for it. So yeah.
People tell me that all the time. They're like, "How are you still so hungry?" And I'm like, "Because I haven't eaten yet."
There's so much more you still want to do, as you were talking about right before this. So, but let me ask you, where can we see Egress right now?
So Egress is available on my Vimeo. I'll send a link. I have a Vimeo page, and all of my films are there. Egress, Redemption, Level. I put them all out for free. I had the Caribbean Film Academy. We did some screenings with them, but I just recognize that, you know, a lot of people want to get money from what they're doing, and I understand that. But if you're making shorts aren't going to really make you money. They're your calling card to get you someplace else. And a lot of people also don't understand the business of this industry. And that's where I think a lot of creatives and people get caught up and they go in the wrong direction. You know, I spent $7,000 to make Egress and I haven't made $1 back from it, but that's not a loss to me. I won a festival. I've done so much work since then on the strength of that one thing. So that was a $7,000 investment. I didn't know how to edit, for example, and we couldn't afford the $3,000 for the editor. So I had to edit. It took me 2 years to edit, but now I'm an editor years later. So I consider that a $7,000 investment into me learning how to edit, for example. So there's so much that comes along with it. And now that I own my own gear and I own all of these things, I can go out and make my own films and know how to do all the components of making it happen. So, you know, you make a short, but you're learning. And it's to take that learning and to elevate and then, you know, keep moving up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder, being humble, recognizing it takes time. And, you know, just like in sports, some people will try all their lives to win a trophy and never win, but that doesn't mean that they didn't have a very successful career.
Right. Leading up. So in your reel earlier, I saw Ashanti, and I think I recognize that video, right? You directed that video.
Yeah, so Ashanti came to Trinidad last year, and we did the music video with her and Machel on the beach. And everyone says they recognize it, which is great because when I speak to them, oh, I love that video. I'm like, yeah, I'm the guy who did it. Oh my God.
Ashanti in a carnival costume. Who didn't see that yet? And if they haven't, they missed out.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a great time with her. She's really great. Up to yesterday, I messaged her mom. Can I stay in touch with her mom? She invited me to a premiere. I went to a premiere with Ashanti when we finished and we got back here to New York. So we've stayed in touch, which is also great. Director X came in and worked with me on it the last 2 days as well. So I got a chance to work with him and I've stayed in touch with him. So I just sent him my reel, for example, and he's giving me all the kudos for the work that I'm doing, which is great because he's such a huge director, still West Indian, but now we're able to have that rapport.
Wait, is director? Oh, wait, he's from Trinidad, huh?
Yeah.
Got it. Yes, I've seen his stuff. That's right. But Tony, if you don't have another question, I want to ask about his work in advertising. I know he started off in advertising and went into film, and I'm curious about how you balance it. They're two different.
Well, right, but before, if I do have a question, what is how do you transition where you're acting, you're producing, and you're directing? I'm trying to wrap my mind around. You are the character in the movie, but you're the producer and director. How do you pull that off? That's what, from a novice point of view, I can't conceptualize it, but you make it happen. So if you can give folks that are watching an idea how you accomplish that, that'd be great.
I'll give you an example that happened on Egress. We were getting ready to do the most emotional scene that I had, where I had to go down by the water, and it's the scene where people cry when they watch the film. Even in certain parts of, I have that in my reel, and people still tell me that hits them. And we were on our way there, and my other producer got a phone call that our sound guy for the next day was not going to be available, and we needed to switch. And so he came and told me. I was mid-character, just walking. We were moving from one location to another. And he came and he told me. And then I had a problem with that. And I was like, okay, how do I fix this issue? Sorry, I've got to jump off really quick. Just give me 2 seconds and I'll come right back and finish that for you.
Absolutely. And so, yeah,
this is the life of a busy director. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. You know, let me ask you, and maybe because you are a producer as well. All right, you are a production supervisor with Tyler Perry Studio, so you see it all. You see in front of the camera, behind the camera, upside down. You see all the different angles. The question I present to him: how do you respond to that while we wait for Sean to come back in terms of the wearing the different hats? Because Tyler Perry does the same thing, right? He goes into character, but he he's writing, he's producing, and he's directing, right? So, if you can offer some insight, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think Regina King, several people, a lot of people are doing that now, where they produce it, they take care of the planning and the financing and the crewing up of the production, but then they still turn around, and because they're still close to it, they can definitely step away and then become that actor. What does get me is, how do you turn that off? You got to turn that dial off really quickly and then get behind the lens and then direct. I've never done it, so I can't.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly, that's the word I was searching for. How do you turn it on and off? Going from that role to this role to that role.
Yeah,
it's you got to have some serious talent, some serious skills to do that.
And it's probably different for every director, where you got to set it up ahead of time, and you have your assistant directors, and you have support on set where you may set it up, but you may not, always you get behind the camera and direct every single shot, but you're directing the overall piece. But I'd like to let Sean answer that one, because I haven't done it. I've always really stayed on the producing side or the directing side, but never doing the acting and directing side together. So I really want to hear what he has to say about that. And I'm super curious too, because also going from advertising into film is quite different. It's structured differently. The production and the creative is done differently. There's a lot of pitching involved in advertising. I was on that side of town before as well. So I want to understand too, from his perspective, the difference between, directing in the advertising space and then directing in the film space, because a lot of people ask me too, well, how do I get in the field? And I think people are just thinking film, or TV, but there's a huge industry in advertising where tons of production is happening all the time. And it's probably one of the, I want to say maybe the easiest way to get into the business, because especially here in Georgia, there's so many advertising agencies. It's ridiculous.
Well, let's take a short break, a quick break. Hopefully, Sean is able to come back on screen to be able to finish up, giving us some insight on that. What I'd like to do is let's take a break, but I will also take a music break, and then we'll come right back. This is the Muse on Drop Music here live on the Colorado Network, we're live on WSTX 970 AM. We're also live on several social media platforms, broadcasting on Temple Networks. We'll be right back.
Protected by the ones from above. Together stand side to side. As long as we stay focused, we'll be okay. Always dealing with the same shit, different day. Till we let them know we're here to stay. No force against us will rise. They dim the light, at least they tried. This ain't a dream, this is a life. You wake up soon, just close your eyes. No, the lies they tell we don't believe. They try so hard to try and scream. Repeat the past, but it won't last. This is used to the violence. Do you really think I'm gonna stay silent? I wanna be the light, not see the light. Yes, one day it will come, but right now's not the time. The fire that lit inside of me created flames for all to see. Extinguish first the pain you breathe, and all hell will cease. This won't last forever. I'll stand on whatever for you to see that I'm forever on your side. This won't last forever. I'll stand on whatever for you to see that I'm forever on your side. People in the front, people in the back, protected by the ones from above. Together stand side to side. People in the front, people in the back, protected by the ones from above. Together stand side to side. Work ain't finished, yeah, yeah. Mr. Melody, could you fly me far from here? Take me by the mind and guide me somewhere. Oh, Mr. Melody, I've been needing you so long. The blues have got hold of me and stolen my song. You were always there for me whenever I needed you to be. You were the light shining in the dark. Yeah, you helped me to believe. But right now I'm losing my faith. Find it hard just to make it through a day. I need you now, just as before. Won't you come and save the day? Come take me away. Help me to escape this pain that's throbbing in my head. Oh, Mr. Melody, could you fly me far from here? Take me by the mind and guide me somewhere. Oh, Mr. Melody, I've been needing you so long. The blues have got hold of me and stolen my song. Ooh, you sound so good to me. Cause me to remember all my dreams. Every hope that I thought was lost, I find when I hear you sing. So now I'm calling out to you, asking you to see me through. Whisper in my ear in the sweet way that you do. Come take me away. Help me to escape this pain that's throbbing in my head. Oh, would you carry me through? Come quickly and soothe me. You're the only remedy. Mr. Melody, could you fly me far from here? Take me by the mind and guide me somewhere. Oh, Mr. Melody, I've been needing you so long. The blues have got hold of me and stolen my soul. When I'm lost, you come and save me. I don't care where you wanna take me, 'cause I know that you're gonna make me forget all my misery. When I'm down, you come and pick me up. When my heart is bleeding, you can stitch it up. And I'm so grateful that I have you to come rescue me. Mr. Melody, could you fly me far from here? Take me by the mind and guide me somewhere. Oh, Mr. Melody, I've been needing you so long. The blues have got hold of me and stolen my song. Oh, Mr. Melody, could you
All right, folks, welcome back. And this is the Muse and also Drop Music here on DMX, broadcasting live on the Kalu Network. We're also broadcasting live on radio, and we're also broadcasting live across social media platform, but we're also broadcasting on Tempo Networks, Tempo Television. So, Patrice, Sean is handling an emergency that he's dealing with, so he's going to go in and out. And so I really appreciate he's being gracious about that. He could have completely canceled, but he didn't. And so he's trying to handle both. But I see he's back, so let's bring him in. Let's see here.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So welcome back, my friend. We killed some time while you were handling your business, man.
Good. I'm still kind of gonna. I may jump back into it. I just gotta be prepared for that if that comes right back. Trying to handle my business, as you said. But yeah, I was telling you this story about when he interrupted in that moment. And I was working with Michael Gooden from Monolith Films. They worked on the Saw franchise, and he said, please don't interrupt him when he's in that space, because the first thing that happened is I went from actor to, oh shit, excuse me, but I have to find an audio guy. What am I going to do at this late hour? It's 5 p.m. We've got a call time at 6 a.m., and my other producer was a little green, and so he didn't know. But it was like, yeah, you can't come and interrupt that moment when I'm deep in character to bring me a producing issue. Wait till after we finish the scene or whatever, and then I can have that conversation where mentally I can go from here to there. So Level that we just did last year, I produced, wrote, directed, acted in that and shot. But what I did is I called 10 friends who were at home during the pandemic and said, hey, let's make something happen with our equipment and our time. Let's tell this story. And so I had a bunch of people who could kind of juggle the shooting and some other things, and some people I had to teach some things to, and then I was the actor. So I was able to kind of juggle those hats without as much difficulty because I kind of knew how to do it better. But it's not an easy task, I'll tell you that, especially if you come with first love as an actor. I really love the character and staying in that frame. And then, I don't really want to step out of that frame whatsoever.
Patrice talked about that when you had to jump. She talked about the transition, right? From having to be actor, producer, director. The transition has to be extremely difficult to go in and out of character and do that. Seeing that you mentioned Level, let's play the trailer for Level, and then we can come back and continue here on our discussion. That was Level. So tell us about this. Tell us about the Level project.
So Level is a tribute for me to Christopher Nolan meets Hitchcock, meets MC Escher, the artist, meets my brain. So essentially, I love a lot of what Christopher Nolan does as a filmmaker. He makes you really think. When you watch his films, there's usually some sort of components, and you have these aha moments as you go through. Then, Hitchcock, just, if you're a lover of film and you go back and you watch his stuff, you would be amazed at what he's done. And I didn't realize it until last year when I was doing research that the end of Psycho subliminally must have been in my head for one of my films, because my ending of my film is very similar to the way that Psycho had ended. So I was like, oh, wow, I guess he really did touch me. And then as an artist, I love Escher. So I wanted to have this story of this guy who was making a delivery, and then all of these things happened to him throughout making this delivery. And then he's wondering if he's fulfilling maybe his right purpose. And in the film, you notice he's wearing a hat. The hat is from Scorch, Trinidad. So again, I try to include West Indian things. The black and white shirt is from Jamaica, a friend of mine's brand. I have another shirt that I'm wearing when he's brushing his teeth. That's a Trinidadian brand. So I try to do small little subtle things. Like in Sukuyan, there's that. In Igris, there's that. I make sure I include West Indian elements in everything that I do. And I don't do it as glaring as this is West Indian. I do it as subtle as it's a hat on his head, right? You're just not paying attention to the hat, but the guy whose brand that is and all the people who follow that brand go, hey, you know. So if you were to see that in a mainstream movie, you would also have that same reaction, like when Daniel Craig asked for Mount Gay rum instead of a vodka martini. And you know, everybody in Barbados went bananas. And at the time I was working with Mount Gay, and Mount Gay said, we didn't pay for that. That was Daniel Craig that likes Mount Gay rum that told the director he was going to say that. So you know, sometimes you have the power to do that, and you never know how big that goes, right? And as West Indian people, I think it's huge for us to do those little things in support of each other.
All right, so eggs in the film. I love it.
Yeah. So we had a late start, and so we only have a couple of minutes left. I'd like to play a couple more of your trailer, and real quickly offer some quick comment. This one is called Sukriyan, and this is a really, really nice film.
God, Sukuyan.
She did. They said she did. They said.
Listen to me, please. Just listen to me. I know it saw me.
Touch shit inside. And then freaking out, guy. Try and put me off, man.
Tell us something.
I've been hearing a lot of things.
Boss, what are you worried about, Sue?
Hey, what happened to you?
Crack the code.
Pastor?
Man, I can't do this. Well, I'm sorry.
I need your help.
How dare you forget my face?
I am not doing this here!
One thing that I'm not nervous about is us.
Everybody sit down and shut up!
I love you so much.
We gotta go, brother.
I will lash off your face, you.
Cat's called Michael. He'll be on the block when you finish work.
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Can't you tell me the truth, man?
You're running some scams with pharmaceutical drugs. Yeah, that's the story of the regret. Everything started. Bloody gun.
I'm really sorry for the loss.
Which one I wanna is Michael? You game for he next? You don't know.
You got me excited.
Trailer for Sean. We only have a couple minutes. And real quickly, what would you like to comment on any of those 3 trailers in terms of your capacity, in terms of acting, writing, producing, and directing?
You got me excited there for a second. I didn't realize, sometimes I don't realize all the things that I've done, but yeah, so Wedding Day, we shot that on our own. That was an independent project we did in Los Angeles as a group of people came together and make a film. Sukuyon, I did in 4 days. I woke up on a Monday and was like, I think I can make a movie in 10 days, and spent 5 days putting things together and shot a movie in 4 days. And then I edited it in a hotel in Haiti. And it's just a testament to my desire to do this as my life, and going forward wanting to do it at a much bigger level and being willing to be patient enough with the steps. I think I put out good quality stuff. It's just to get the support that I need to kind of take it to the next level. No pun intended with the level, but I have 19 projects that are sitting on my computer, going back to 2005, that I'm aching to do. So I would love to be that Caribbean filmmaker, producer, director, who's creating all of these projects, that can really lead the pathway for us to have an industry going forward that is fully monetizable, so that we can all make money off of it and fully seen in value.
Well, we're going to have you back. There's going to be a part 2. All right. I know we had a late start, and Patrice, I know you have lots of questions. But let's look at a sequel, right? Part 2, in terms of our time with Sean. He is an incredible, talented actor, writer, producer, and director. And Sean, thank you so much for taking time. I know you had an emergency, but you made it happen. Thank you so much, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. The rebroadcast. There's a problem on the live stream. We got blocked on Facebook. I don't know why. They're saying there's some claim to some kind of something here. So I'm not sure what it is. But you'll be able to watch it on DropMusiX, and of course on Tempo, as well as other platforms as well. Folks, have a pleasant good evening. Sean, thank you so much. Patrice, thank you so much. This has been the Muse on DropMusiX, live on the Color Network. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Anthony.